Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. This is the second class in this series of Mantra Yoga. It's titled The Three Powers in a Mantra. It's common knowledge that we always say, God willed and God created this world. God willing, it's all God's will. And that idea of will, somehow it's been there with us. For why? Because somewhere deep down we also feel we have a will. And that what marks us out as conscious human beings. A power of will, a conscious exercise. In Eastern philosophies, power, will, or willpower means Shakti. Because Shakti is now absorbed in the English language, Shakti. The word itself comes from the Sanskrit shakt, that is to be able to do. So in the philosophies, the philosophical schools of Shaivism, that is those who predominantly worship Shiva, Shakti is a power, energy, the capacity, or the potency. But is it an ordinary potency, power, energy? No, it's a cosmic, divine potency or power or energy. We mistake this energy here as related to that. In a way, yes, it is, but that energy has come to a much lower level where it acts as sensible matter, matter that's perceived. Matter is nothing but energy. So this Shakti is, there's a whole sub-school which calls it vibration, flutter, it throbs. It's called spandana. The words we use are vibrations. Everything in this universe is vibrations. And the beginning, as we read also in the Bible, in the beginning was the word. That word is spandana. It shakes, vibrates. Even in the earliest Rig Vedas, we had Anidvatam Swadayata Duktam. It vibrated without vibrations. In the beginning, when all these manifestations of power came about, it existed, but that existence was with vibration, but without any perceptible movement. So this Shakti, or power, or as you say, vibration, is not connected to something like, oh, it's blind vibrations. something that has no conscious direction. So this Shakti is intelligent. It is creative. It is through this power, this will, God wills this power, that God creates, sustains, and dissolves the universe. Now, these are not 3 periods of time, you see. It's first creation, then, okay, the creation has stopped. These processes are constantly happening at every level of the universe. There's constantly creation, constantly maintenance, constantly disintegration, and this keeps on repeating ad infinitum at every level, as I mentioned. And it's a highly complex process, highly. It's unbelievable that matter appears intelligent, energy appears intelligent. So this power is the power of God, okay? Shakti. So according to this school of Shaktaism, that is who predominantly say that it is power or the will that is the predominant element in nature. Well, if you study our bodies, you can see the same thing happen. We all have this idea that there is something, the power there. As I said, the power of will. Now, according to this particular, the previous school, Shaivism, God is in the form of this power. So it's called Parashakti, the highest, you can say, divine potency or vibration or energy or power. And so we have then, there's that state where it begins to start manifesting. And that says, let me be many. It wills, I am one, let me be many. Eko ham bhavishyam. I mean, later we put those words. It doesn't ask your permission or say, I said this. When the creative processes begins, the mass of energy begins vibrating. It's vibrating without vibration, as they say. And then it starts vibrating. That's the first manifestation of the power of will. This is called Ichcha Shakti. Shakti, as we've seen what it is. Ichcha is will. Okay. So this begins the first process, Ichcha. Within this power itself is a power of knowledge. It is called Jnana Shakti. So we have 2 first. One is Ichcha Shakti and Jnana Shakti. That's the knowledge power. Why? Because that Shakti considered the means and the ends of this vibration, with power. So it is, as I say, intelligent. It is conscious. It willed. I would say, yeah, I would like to go to the moon. You don't have the knowledge, you don't have the capacity. So simply willing will not do. For us at least, we like to will so many things and nothing we do. Without knowing what we are willing, we do it and then we get into trouble, as we've seen. So the power of knowledge, that will itself is power. So Ichcha Shakti, the power of will, the power of knowledge, and then there's a third power embedded within that mass. It's called the power of work, of action, of when it starts getting concrete. It is called Kriya Shakti. So these three, Ichcha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. So these are the three powers. Like for us also we say, oh, humans are thinking and feeling and willing and knowing people, beings. We have thinking, we think, Jnana Shakti. We have willing, we will, and we have the power to work. So if it is there in the beginning, it has to be. So these sages, they did a kind of a reverse engineering, okay? Going back and back and back. Nowadays we have all these kind of reverse engineers. They get something and they reverse and find out how they started the whole thing. So if it is here, it is everywhere. It is not only in humans. It is there in all life forms. Every life form, whether it's an insect, whether it's a spider, whether it's a cockroach, whether it's an ant, and anything, it knows its environment. It protects itself and it works to live. So life or living itself entails these three powers: of willing, of knowing, and of working out what you have willed and what you have worked. So these three within each other, embedded within each other. And if you want to study life, study these three powers. If you want to study all life, study these three powers. And if you want to study creation, study these three powers. So these are the three powers. But there are some who like to, let's analyze it some more. We can kind of break it down. They gave three additional powers. But many philosophers say, no, these are not additional powers. The three are sufficient to explain everything. In Indian philosophy, they say the simplest explanation should answer all the questions. If you can get it, if you're going to go in for a very complex explanation, then you're going to be wrong. You're going to get trapped. So the very simplest explanation should cover the entire ground. So these three. But like I said, these philosophers like to talk and they discuss. So they said this power, these threefold powers within that, the entirety. First is, it's mysterious. You can never know it in totality. You'll know it, you'll get a kind of inkling, you get a glimpse, you can see a part. It's mysterious. It's called achintya. It is, as I say, not mysterious in the sense of, oh, it's a mystery. It cannot be defined by the mind. It's there, but the mind is incapable of defining it. Then this power is the primal power, so it is causal. Because we see the effects here, and so it has to be the cause, the first cause. That is okay. And it is also the most natural. There is no such thing as, oh, okay, it's a very unnatural creation. Nobody says a very unnatural creation. No, that's why we call it nature. Nature, it's natural. It is spontaneous. It is Also they say foundational. It is its own support. Nothing else supports this. It can run on its own. Leave a system of life somewhere and it will start cooperating and operating and slowly proliferating all these things. So it's natural. And then they went further down and saying, well, there's a power behind everything, and it is most manifest in a word. Every speech is a result of power. So this speech is at the kind of most grossest level of Shakti. There are other 3 levels, deeper and deeper. So the Shakti, as it were, wells up and then progressively becomes subtle and then gross, and then what we hear. So behind speech is the same power. Like Christ said, be thou whole, and that person was whole. Where did you get that? Oh, that person, Christ, and so many others also, they had a grip on that power at its very source. So when they say, be thou whole, it comes from that source and they can tap into it. So the 4 levels are, Vaikari, the grossest, and then we have something called Madhyama and Pashyanti and Para. So let's not go into that, otherwise we will get distracted from the main thing. So behind every work that we do, behind every thought we think, behind every will, a desire, behind everything, I want this, I want that, I will go here and will do this, and I know this. These powers are operating. And as I said, it operates at all levels of creation. So even if there are gods, there are plenty. They also are under this powers. And that's why he's saying this creation is divine. And we say, okay, what is divine? It's divine, but how do you analyze it? This is the way. This divine has got these 3 powers, or the qualities. To understand it, like Sri Ramakrishna said, who can understand what Mother Kali is? Even the 6 systems of philosophy cannot describe her, cannot comprehend her. This power, as I said, it's achintya, mysterious. And to understand it in its completeness, so that's why. So this power is embodied at times in these goddesses. That we personalize, because we are people, we like to have gods and goddesses as people. We like to have them hands and feet. That is a problem with our thinking. I mean, that is our limitations. Yeah. If we can think of power in abstract terms, you will not need a symbol or a figure or a this and that. God will be just a mass of energy. But very few people can. This and I am a human being, and so I like my God to be a human being. But a little bigger, little taller, a little stronger, and has got more power than me, more willing than, more capacity to work than. So it's like always. It is nothing but a projection of our own imagination, a magnification. This is called anthropomorphism. We are humans. So we morph our gods into like human beings. And that has created, in a way, so many problems. Religious problems are because of this. No tiger will say, hey, my God is a big tiger. Or a lion will say, my God is a big lion. They're not fighting amongst themselves over their gods. They are fighting over territory and fighting over this. Okay, all right. They are much better than us, in a way. So now, this power, as I said, everybody embodies these powers, all these three powers. And we can see, like it's a Divine Mother, it's consciousness, etc., etc. There are some schools who will say, hey, you see, let's have Shiva. Why not? Why give the whole thing to the Divine Mother, like Kali? Why wait? So, both Shiva and Shakti are okay, they're combined, you can say. The higher manifestations of Shakti, the Parashakti, the higher Shakti, is Shiva, the absolute. And when that same energy starts vibrating, drumming about, fluttering, that is the Divine Mother. It's a Kali or Durga. What? That's why in the Kali iconography you can see Shiva is lying flat. It's like Shava, like a dead. And Kali is dancing on him. She cannot dance without Shiva because she has to have a support. The absolute is the support and the relative is the dynamic. So these are the two aspects. The silent, the dynamic aspect is Kali and the absolute aspect is Shiva. So this energy has got both. Even in our lowest ideas of religion, we need people. But in the higher ideas of religion, we don't need people. Humans, gods, images, and all that. Because in our own personality, we have these two aspects. We have the human aspect. And at times we have a feeling, I am not completely defined by my personality. There is something greater to me, not to me only, to everybody, okay, than what I'm defined by. My characteristics are define me, but then I'm beyond. And that's the reason why nobody can understand anybody. It's impossible. We see only one side of the picture. We don't see Shiva in our nature. We see only Kali in our nature. And then, okay. So they, like I said, the qualities is, it is consciousness. There is consciousness. It's higher, it's in the beginning, etc. And like I said, it is part of our day-to-day life. So you must remove the idea that from your mind that I am separate from what's going on there. Like something is going on there. Hey, does not concern me. No. This reality concerns everybody because we are in it. And we are in a way that reality. So this power hidden deep within us vibrates. And it is symbolized, designated as the Kundalini. So Swami Turiyananda, he says, the Jnana Shakti, the knowledge vibration or the power of the Atman is called the Kundalini. But as we have seen, if there is one, there will be the other two also. There will be first the willing, the knowing, and the working. These three. So the Kundalini within us, the coiled up, Kundalini means coiled up. It is there in all beings, especially in human beings. It is coiled up and it has to uncoil itself. It is coiled, it is in a way vibrating without vibrations. Like in the very beginning, vibration with the vibration is there. That has to be awakened. So when it awakens, it starts its journey. Like I said, from the very gross, it rises up, becomes subtle, becomes causal, and then. So that energy, Kali, has to merge with, always trying to merge with Shiva, because that's a support. And Shiva is here. And so the Kundalini from the sacral plexus rises up higher and higher and higher. And as it rises, it crosses various stages of this energy. This world will disappear in the first two stages. As it rises up, so the gross world disappears, the physical world disappears. Then the mental world opens up. And as it climbs higher and higher, that vibrational energy that rises up, then becomes silent when it reaches Shiva, unites with Shiva. So the Kundalini in its coiled up or sleeping state, dormant state, has got these three powers. Otherwise it will not be able to rise. And it knows what to do. It knows where to go. And somehow it is trying to awaken. This is another aspect of it. At that higher level of liberation, let's put it like that, these three powers also. So the technical words for that, just for the record, I got to say. So the first power is Anvayopaya. Upaya is means, Anvaya, or Kriyopaya, the means of work, Kriya, the Kriya Shakti. So in that, what happens is, it uses a mantra and yoga practices and this and that, because it's a means, you see. One has to work. One has to take a mantra and start repeating it, this and that. And so this is the first means. The mantra is a means. Then the next, you can say, level of liberation is Shaktopaya or Jnanopaya, the means of knowledge. And here it recognizes duality, and at the same time it is aware of its higher dimension. Like we are aware of our personality, and yet we know that we cannot be defined just by a personality. There is something higher than that. So Swami Vivekananda gives an example, saying, suppose you were asked to visualize or imagine a circle. And then you can visualize a circle, yeah. That very perception will give you the idea that you will see space within the circle, within the circumference of the circle. And that perception also gives you the idea of a space outside the circle. That's the abstract side of your personality and of the world and of reality and of the mantra also. So here you are within there. Okay. So the perception is, depends, like, they say, sometimes they say the glass is half full and sometimes the glass is half empty or something like that. It depends on how you perceive things. Somebody say this world is kind of a miserable place. Somebody will say that it's a beautiful place. What? Are you crazy? It depends on how you see it. And then the third is level of liberation is Sambhavopaya. That is there. You can just will. I feel that this is bondage, just drop it off. I can just will. Because at that point, the will has become so strong. You just drop it off. That is one. That's one of the penultimate stages of. Yeah, we've read so much about this. Like Swami Vivekananda says, I can crush the stars into atoms. Yeah. So at that stage, you can just crush ignorance or whatever is there. Because that will has become supreme. Because it has become one with that first impulse, you see. That's why it is irrepressible. Nothing can stop it. And then the fourth stage of, that's the last stage, and it's called Anandopaya. That is, then you get the whole thing. It's liberation. But you've got to go through the first three stages. No, you cannot just go up there. Now, in Kashmir Shaivism, which is, resembles Advaita Vedanta to a great extent. Kashmir Shaivism, but originated in Kashmir. The Shakti is also considered as grace. So when you're initiated by somebody, the mantra that goes within you, it is transferred from the guru to the disciple. It's a transfer. The transfer of what? Oh, you're given a mantra. What? That's just the external sound. And like I said, behind every sound there is a power, Shakti. So there is a transfer of Shakti in the form of a mantra from one to another. Okay. Now, depending on the receptacle, the disciple or the guru, whatever, there are either they come in three stages. Either they're intense, medium, or gentle. So most of us are in the gentle mode. There are some with the medium. There are some they immediately get it. When the guru initiates them, they get it. They don't have to, they don't have to practice spiritual disciplines. But after getting it, then they do practice spiritual disciplines for the rest of us. Because that mantra will make them. It will give them the final, but that, okay, now do all this. That mantra will make you will, it will make you know, and it will make you work. Right? So it's unraveling a thing. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, there are some trees which fruit first and then it flowers. And there are mainly trees which flower first and then the flowers drop and then fruit. So these are so grace is equivalent to Shakti. Sri Ramakrishna said the God's grace is constantly blowing. You just unfurl your sail. He means that grace, what is grace? Is Shakti. Shakti is constantly flowing. You just start manifesting these three powers within you. And these powers are part of us. Start. And then the Shakti comes and takes you. Like Sri Ramakrishna said, you take one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. That's the idea. Grace says, the Shakti just lifts you up, takes you. In many times, in many places, it catches you unawares. You're just lifted and Oh, that's God's grace. Oh my God. That's the Shakti of God working. Because as I said, it has these three powers. Okay. Now when you come to the mantra, everything in this, as I said, in the visible or invisible universe is in every living being, this Shakti vibrates. In fact, life is possible because of these three powers. And these three powers are dominant there as you keep on practicing. Now, what do you mean practicing? So, as with the power of knowing, the power of willing, and the power of working. We have these three powers and all life and all. But we've got to start increasing it. So I had linked creation, the whole world, all life within it, and liberation also, to these three powers. All these things are within that mantra. The mantra has these three powers also. Well, if everything has it, the mantra also will have it. You cannot say, no. That also is part. So in a way, the seed of creation has been given to you. And you are now unraveling creation, doing reverse engineering from there, going up. This is what happened. Here the word or that first power or the willing was God's. Here you also have that power now. And additional power is given to you. And you say, more power to you. This is what it is. More power to you. And as you repeat it, these three powers in the mantra starts manifesting. More and more and more. The more you repeat it, the more you know, the more you have the capacity to work, and the more you will, stronger the will becomes. And this process keeps on expanding. What happens? You get in sync with entire creation. Right now, somehow, we are in sync, but our kind of ignorance has made us distinct and separate and lonely and unhappy. People come and say, Swami, I'm so alone, so lonely. Yeah. Why is that? Like I said, they are not in sync with this, with themselves. And that is, they are not in sync with creation, everything around. So it's one of the states where you feel that the whole universe is vibrating within you.
5 minutes or less.
Oh, there it is. You see, once it's said, you don't have to say it again. But I'll try to recap at least. This will be part of the recap, okay? Bear with me. These guys also there watching us. But I was going to say, that when we think about Shakti, that it's dynamic, yes, and it's always constantly in the state of activity and knowing and willing, etc. But there's that Shiva aspect, which is a silent aspect. Okay, that silent aspect we found. Power went off. It was silent. So it was there. It was there, but you couldn't hear it. So to recap, the universe begins through these three powers. The first is there's a mass of power called Parashakti, and that it vibrates without vibration. Why? Because everything is in its, you can say, state of non-manifestation and manifestation. So if the universe has been there like this, you can know the whole universe through these three powers. You will know all life through these three powers. You know yourself through these three powers. You'll get liberation through these three powers. You can practice spiritual disciplines through these three powers. And what the means, the mantra. So as the coiled up power, which is the Kundalini, begins to stir and awaken, it rises. And as it rises, it leaves this gross level of vibration, this world, rises higher, goes into the subtle realms. So the mantra is also at that subtle level. Your repetition of that mantra also becomes very subtle. And then it goes deeper, it becomes causal, where there is no vibration. And yet it is there. Like Anidvatam, it vibrated without vibration. So in that state, which is the higher state, it corresponds also to speech, oral speech, verbal, it can hear it, articulate speech. Then deeper down are thoughts. That's a subtle level. Deeper down is the first stirring of that thought. The second level is thoughts become into pictures, At the bottom, down still, there are no pictures, there are no words, but the first stirrings. And then it goes down still deeper, or up, whatever. In this universe, there is no up and down or something like that, just for our understanding. So it's called a para. So the Vaikari, down. From there it rises up. So your mantra follows that trail. Goes repetition, it becomes more and more finer, it becomes more and more subtle, then it becomes more and more causal, and then it goes down, it's vibrating without vibration. At that stage, the Kundalini has joined itself to that silent Shiva. That's why Shiva is shown meditating, is silent. So all this play of Shakti, which begins from that point, which comes out, which is creating and preserving and destroying and doing all these things. For you, when you go up there, there is no creation, because you're liberated. The coiled up power has become completely furled. You become one with the universe. And in Vedanta, it's always one with the universe. one with God. You become one with God. You say God is everywhere. God is in every heart. God is in every living being. What do we mean by that? With these three powers. So divinity or soul, our very soul, the very soul of the universe and everything has these three aspects. This is, as the Bhagavad Gita said, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi. This, my Maya, is divine. So this Shakti is also called Maya. Okay? It's also called Prakriti. And this is divine. Well, nothing divine in this. Nothing. Yeah. You start awakening that power through the mantra. So the means also becomes the end in this mantra yoga. Slowly and slowly and slowly you will find everything you're becoming sync with this entire universe. You become one with the universe. The power of the universe flows through you. The power of God flows through you. You become divine. You have understood your divine nature. So this is what happens at that. So three powers, it's mysterious, it's hidden, it's foundational, it is its own support, etc. All these things become resolved when you understand that there is now just this vibration, just the Shakti. So the seed, the mantra is a seed, has grown into a mighty tree. Where's that tree? This entire universe and God. So we say, the mantra is God's name. What's God's name? Yeah, this is what it is. It's a seed of God's name. It's a seed of the universe. It's a seed. Your seed is the entire universe sleeps, as it were, in that seed, in that mantra. And as it comes out, this is the culmination. And this, as a last stage of, as I say, liberation, anupaya. There are no means. The whole thing has become bliss, the power of bliss. So there's another one aspect in this. Now, vibrations and powers and this, and sometimes becomes, we feel claustrophobic and sometimes destructive and all. But there's one aspect of that power which is the power of bliss. So bliss and bliss and bliss. So you'll see this entire world just blissful. Yes, bliss. And then that's the end. Okay? So don't think it's just vibration, it's a dry vibration, this and that. The vibration of bliss. And bliss, as we know, is the nature of God. It's the nature of the universe. We don't see this universe like that, but it is there. And then it becomes clear. So the long process of your journey from the microcosm ends in the macrocosm. I'll stop here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay, I hope now there's a sound here. Now they are not saying anything. How can people who are suffering can simultaneously be at bliss? Ha ha. Where is suffering? Suffering is because of ignorance. And how can ignorance and bliss be together? So bliss is your nature. And ignorance is something which is kind of superimposed on you. And you're identifying with that. So at that stage, how to remove it? How to remove suffering? There are three types of suffering. physical, and then terrestrial, and something comes out and hits her from the sky like an asteroid. Boom. We are not to be blamed for that. I never asked for an asteroid, but it came and slammed me. I'm walking down the street. Maybe a kind of a big dog comes and bumps into me. Hey, what's that? So terrestrial, so many things. I'm feeling cold, feeling hot, feeling... So suffering is on these three levels. The extraterrestrial, terrestrial, and internal. So these are common to, suffering is common to all living, because there is that element of limitation. We are limited ourselves. But through practice and all, then you can come out. Like Sri Ramakrishna, let the body know its pain. You, oh my mind, live in bliss. Okay. So, once I heard that the exact translation of the Bible, I will create as I speak. Oh, wonderful. So, my old friend Connie, once I heard that the exact translation from the Bible was, I will create as I speak. There. I wasn't wrong. I got it right. So, speaks, that the word speaks and creates. So, in Indian philosophy, it's called spandana, the vibration. It's also called sphota, explosion. Not explosion in the sense of expansion. And nowadays, people are saying the universe came out from the quantum fluctuation. Yeah, they're using those very words. There was the quantum fluctuation, and then there was the expansion. So those guys got it right. Because they're seeing it is there, so now they're voicing those things. Okay. I live in Iowa where there's no Vedanta center. Oh, I'm at loss to where to go. Don't worry about the initiative of mantra. You can visit the nearest Vedanta center, of course, but then you can build up on your, your foundation. So you attend all these kind of online classes, etc. And if you get a chance, do go to a Vedanta society and write to them, of course. And then they will ask some questions, etc. So it's a good thing. Okay. I think we can, online audience we can take this class. So the next class on this series will be mantra countering Maya. Okay. That's another aspect. So I said it will be a little kind of a deep study on the philosophy of mantra. So we'll go step by step. A few announcements here. Sunday, there will be a 10 a.m. talk on the lower and the higher knowledge, according to Vedanta, of course. And to make an announcement, Global Vedanta online magazine, 7th issue has been, you can say, published. So please go to our website, read it. There's a good article there. And 31st, we have the Kali Puja year at 6. We like volunteers, we like, and also there will be a street parking, etc. So beware. It's Halloween night. Mother's Children is there, and then we have, tomorrow we have a Karma Yoga at Tapovan retreat. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.